What is going on, everyone? My name is BoIt, and I'm back with some more Age of Titans action. Spawning in the right side of the map, in the blue color, playing Hades, is the top player at the moment, TheMista. His opponent today, in the red color, playing Thor, is One God, One Hammer, a Thor account for CountVonCount. He normally plays either Uranus or Isis, just because those are his strongest gods, but he did originally play Thor, so it's nice to see him going back to his roots, currently using a couple of his dwarves to help pick off this rhinoceros because he didn't have pick sticker, and one of those gatherers probably wouldn't have been able to do it, or his ox cart may have taken a significant amount of damage. Just going to move those dwarves back onto the gold mine now, so and a bit of an intelligent start there for CountVonCount. Mister, on the other hand, he's found his rhinos, he's going to pick them up. And the map is Savannah, so you're going to have to assume that there's going to be some hunt. We do see some back zebra, we see some giraffe, we see some more zebra, but there's not really a lot apart from that initial 2 rhino from what I can see. There's a couple of elephant in the side of the map, but it doesn't look like anyone's really going to be able to gather from those. So Mister's had a bit of a rough start there, not finding his hunt right away, but fortunately for him, he's grabbed those straight away. He's got a lot of villagers on food though, and he hasn't yet bought hunting dogs, so he might have just forgotten, or he actually might be choosing to do a very early aggressive push with something or other, which I've never seen Hades played before in the competitive scene. So I'll be interested to see what strategies he comes up with this god. I have seen Hades played before. Obviously, he's a god that comes up quite a bit when you play random. So and he's basically just a lesser version of Zeus. So if Zeus can do a 4-minute Athena rush, then so can Hades. It's just going to be a little bit less potent because his hoplites do not deal siege damage. But we do see that again. There's the temple. So the hunting dogs not being researched. Instead, the temple going to be grabbed first, building up that house first so he doesn't get supply blocked while he's producing some villagers to go, which is going to probably chuck over the gold. While these villagers are going to stay on food, I'll move to the wood for some Toxitos, and he's going to need the wood anyway for barracks and archery range, so he's going to have to shift them over eventually. We do see One God, One Hammer, CountVonCount has picked up Pig Sticker. That's going to allow him to pick off those rhinoceros extremely quickly. Unfortunately for him, he's got all hunt in the open and the forward position, so the Mister's strategy of being aggressive early is going to pay off extremely well because CountVonCount's only going to have his 1,000 food from those rhino, and that goes really quickly when you have to build gatherers and advance. That's 400 food for the advance, and if you build say 20 gatherers, that's going to be 400, and you've only got 200 left to play with raiding cavalry, so that's only going to be 5 raiding cavalry right there worth of food. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can secure some of this hunt, or he's going to have to grab those chicken and those goat and waste that 100 gold on the pig sticker, unfortunately for him, but we'll see. So Mister did just get enough food there to advance. He's going through areas. He's left 3 villages on the food there. He's moving these food villages over somewhere. Where is he putting those? I'm interested to see, because that's both of those are nice wood locations, so I'm surprised that he's choosing this one over that one, especially when that one was closer. However, it's got a bit of a concave around it, so that's going to mean that you can gather more efficiently from this because you're going to have more villages right next to the storehouses. And you can see he's also done it's sort of a bug, but it's kind of an exploit, but it sends your villagers to the trees and stacks them on the tree. So the first round of gathering is going to be instantaneous with a couple of bumps after that. So that's going to be okay. We can see that One God, One Hammer, CountVonCount, he's going through Freya, so he's not going to be too far behind. He may have sniffed out something with Mister's really low score. Generally, if you see a player with a low score early, if it drops, then you can say, okay, they're going to the next age, or they're getting a town center if they are Atlantean. Atlantean do have that little bit of an advantage there where you can't really understand what's going on. We do see the temple has some Herso producing. No, leave that Herso there. You need that there, otherwise the Cyclops will pick off a couple of those gatherers, and you want them scattering that. So we do see the CountVonCount being really clever there with that Herso, realizing that Ares was on the way, and the Cyclops are going to be an imminent threat. We see the Catastrophic Scout right there already, scouting out food. And you can see that Ajax coming in now to pick off that Ursa, with the Cyclops just being a bit of a distraction right there. And then we do see that the 100% bonus damage to myth units from heroes has been acquired by Mysta. So any trolls or any Valkyrie or just Valkyrie that pop out, it's going to be a very difficult thing for CountVonCount to really keep alive because of the damage that's already going to be coming out. So you do see that they have a 600% damage bonus versus myth units. With the extra 100%, I'm not sure if that makes it 700% or 1200%. I'm not sure how it stacks, but it does do a fair amount. You do see that the archery range of Mysta have come out now, so he's going to be producing Toxotos, auto-queuing them. He's got 7 villages on wood and 3 villages on gold, and he doesn't have hand axe yet, though he could afford it, so he could produce that. We're going to see Mysta continue to push in here. These Hursa are not going to be doing a whole lot against the raiding Toxoto, which are going to be coming through very shortly. We do see one's already here, and we do see that the Watchtower is now up for CountVonCount. So if he can keep this one alive for a little bit, then he's going to be sitting pretty in terms of his ability to defend this gold mine. However, with the Hursa coming in right now, he's going to see if he can... Actually, he's going to lose one of those Hursa if he's not careful, and 2 of those Hursa if he's really uncareful. Nice bait there by CountVonCount, retreating that just in time so that Ajax was taking some unnecessary damage from the Watchtower, and now 2 Hursas fallen for free, maybe even 3, and the Catastrophic Scout. So really good trading now from the Mysta. Mysta's economy is so far behind there right now, so if he doesn't pick up a couple of villages, then CountVonCount's just going to be able to reproduce and then outproduce Mysta. And we're going to see that probably come into play now because he's currently using his units a little bit poorly. They're taking a bunch of damage from that Tancer and those Ursa. So that Cyclops, which was on full HP, now on half HP, Forest Fire now going down onto the wood line of the Mysta. Unfortunately, no, yet the wood line is going down and it's going to grab onto all the other ones. I thought that that tree wasn't connected there, but it was, so it's going to go down. Mysta moving his villages over to this location. We do see the Valkyrie going to get picked up extremely quickly from that Chiron right there because of the bonus damage. Unfortunately for Chiron, he needs to work on his sort of accuracy there because he's never going to hit that Valkyrie with the what's it, 6 feet, 5.5 move speed. So as we know, if your Valkyrie, if your unit has more than 5 speed, then and basically they dodge arrows, so you can continuously micro them around. You can see that Chiron's actually basically being taken out of play now because he has to worry about the Valkyrie moving around and coming to raid him. But it looks like Mysta's going to move over here and see if he can deal with this army here. I don't know if retreating from that was a good idea. I think that he probably could afford it in terms of using that Cyclops special ability to pick off that full HP. Actually, no, he had 3 raiding cavalry, so it would have been a little bit difficult. He's continuously building Toxotos, but he is population blocked at the moment. He's got a couple of houses going up. He's got 1 house only at 16 HP, so we'll see if CountVonCount can abuse that and take that down. You can see that a couple of these Toxotos come in to intercept those raiding cavalry. Actually, they were moving over to the food store there. You must have missed the raiding cavalry moving by, and they're going to come around the back. See if they can pick up a couple of those villages. There's no low HP villages there, and with the Toxotos which are already there, that's probably going to allow most of those villages to survive, if not all of them, if you micros them well. And we do see the villagers also taking down one of the raiding cavalry themselves, because raiding cavalry are kind of weak and villagers are kind of strong, and yeah, basically that's that. It's kind of funny how raiding cavalry's purpose is to raid villagers, yet villagers when they have numbers can generally beat the raiding cavalry at base level. But once you get them to medium cavalry, you don't want to tussle with that raiding cavalry. Then it's going to deal a bunch of damage. You can see these raiding cavalry coming back into round 2. Not going to take any damage though. Well, it might take a little bit of damage, but not going to have any casualties there because they were moving. You've got to be able to dodge the arrows. We see some more raiding cavalry coming around with the Valkyrie in the party. Going to come in, raid this wood line, raid that wood line there. Mysta now converting to farms because of the limited amount of resources. He hasn't spotted this back. Oh, he did spot the back hump, but he felt like it was a little bit dangerous to get over there because if that is dead, you can actually highlight it as the enemy team. If we can find out something like, if I could find it, it would be cool. He hasn't got any dead stuff. No, I can't. Actually, yes, I can. Right here. See how you can't highlight that chicken because it's dead? Those chickens were there. So that's sort of glitch there that you can exploit to see if units have been gathering there or not. If there's a dead animal, then generally you can assume that there are units there. And I'm sure most people know about that, but it's nice to give the advice. To see a house going up in the very front of CountVonCount's base. I don't know if he's going to use that for like micro, or if it's just sort of a mistake to move the village with that. But he's going to put this archery range in the face of CountVonCount. CountVonCount's going to have to move these villages off that gold mine now. He does have this back gold mine over here, which is going to be very difficult to push off. And we do see that a bunch of these raiding cavalry coming in again. He's going to retreat these cavalry, or just use them to pick off the stragglers, and then just continue to hold as long as he can. See the dwarfs coming back to this gold mine. I don't know if that's the right choice, but maybe he's moving them over to that side because he's already got a couple of watchtowers on there, and that'll be good. And the thing about going Ares as opposed to Athena, which most people do when they play Hades, is you have access to the god path Ares, Apollo, and then Artemis, which is all of the upgraded Toxotos. So basically it makes Hades late game incredible. And if this game does make it to late game, then that's going to be a huge factor. We're going to see if the Huskars can actually deal with that. But then all you really have to do is build a, what's it called? A couple of the anti-infantry. I've had a mind blank. Anyhow, you build those, and then all is well in the world against Huskars, because Huskars die incredibly quickly to counter infantry. Why? What is it? I can't remember what they're called. Alright, we'll come back to that. If it does come up, but we'll see. So we do see that Medium Archers has been researched for TheMista. TheMista's still not building another production building. We do see that 98 population to 78 population. Remember that when Norse gets to full pop cap, their army is significantly stronger than a Greek army, just because raiding cavalry costs 2 population, whereas Hippicon costs 3, and they're more meaty and all that other good stuff. Unless you're playing a TheMista with Hoplite Toxotos and Minotaur, that's a different story. Perhaps if Mista had a bunch of those Cyclops out, he'd also be able to tussle with the army. We do see a little bit of a raid coming on here. I don't know if I like this raid because his Toxoto are out in the open. He might pick up a couple of villages here, but that's not going to be much if the raiding cavalry come in here and surround these Toxotos in the range of that watchtower. It looks like Mista's going to just move out here. CountVonCount doesn't really want to tussle with that either, so he's just gonna let that happen. Move his villages off to a different location, more safe location. We can see that if CountVonCount does something. Okay, the interesting thing here is that CountVonCount has no access to gold onto wood, so he can't produce I can't produce a lot of those raiding cavalry. So that's why this is working so well. I was just trying to fathom why this is working so well, because Toxotos generally, this is a 2003 strategy, right? People would build nothing but throwing axemen or nothing but Toxotos, and they just mass them and then they just go, and they'd win because macroing one type of unit is so much easier than macroing 2, and players who would try to macro correctly and play the game in more of a modern style are losing because they couldn't produce as many units as their opponent, and they just died of the sheer numbers. And this is sort of the same thing, because CountVonCount is building correctly. He wants to build raiding cavalry, but he doesn't have the access to the resources because there's no hunt, and he had to build a bunch of farms, so he's going to struggle in that area. He really needs to get I believe he needs to get an ox cart for this, because that's actually 2 farms worth of travel distance there, which is going to, again, significantly reduce his access to food and his access equally to raiding cavalry, because we don't have food, don't have raiding cavalry, and that's that. And we do see another raid coming in here, picking off a couple more of these villages. Actually, he might not pick up any if the macros well enough. It looks like he's going to probably pick off none there. Really nice play there by CountVonCount, but unfortunately for CountVonCount, you're going to lose that watchtower. There's a couple of villages that are coming out there, and you can see those get picked off really, really quickly. And I feel like at this point, one god, one hammer, CountVonCount needs to get his medium cavalry upgrades and then just surround this army. He's got a couple of Herso, if he sticks those Herso onto that Cyclops, or even just a throwing axeman just to pick it off quickly, then he should be able to win this fight. And you see he's got his army split up, and if he just needs to sort of contain this army in here. If you can't retreat, then you can't do anything. We go back to Mister's camp. He does now have 15 villagers on the food, and he's currently getting that second town center, building out those 3 more archery ranges. So it looks like he's really going in for this. And there we go. The medium cavalry, raiding cavalry are up. And we see Mister in a very nice spot here. He's circumvented the what's it called? He circumvented the surround that CountVonCount's got here, but the army is so big now for CountVonCount. We can see that the drop in supply from TheMista as opposed to CountVonCount is going to be huge here. And we see the Toxodos getting picked off, and every single unit there lost to TheMista. So I feel like TheMista really should have got out of there after he destroyed that tower. If he had just sort of moved out, maybe even gone through town center range and just sort of retreated back to this town center, that would have been fine. But he just lost every single unit he had there. And now, as much damage that he's done to CountVonCount, TheMista has taken in himself simply by losing his entire army of Toxotos. That's A, going to reduce, it's A, going to limit his ability to tech, so he's going to get to the heroic age really late. And B, it's going to reduce his ability to produce meaningful units. Because at this point, he doesn't really want to build any food-based units, which is why we see so many Toxotos getting made, so we can produce as many villages as he can, so he can get ahead economically and then potentially get to late game where he might feel like he can win the game. If he didn't lose all those Toxotos, then he could have stopped building Toxotos because he would have had an army, produced nothing but villages, and then gone to the heroic age really, really quickly. We do see a raid coming in here. If he gets the heroic age, then he can chuck a fortress down and destroy the location which is defending CountVonCount's villages. And we can see these raiders going to have to run around and do what they can, but they're not going to pick off much. The positioning of the Mister's villages are really nicely in that lies at the moment, with the 2 forests really close by these town centers. That's not something that you want to raid. Do see that the town center going up for CountVonCount here. Mister's chucking up a couple of wall segments just to see what's going on. We can see that Watchtower going up on the 3rd town center of CountVonCount. It's going to be huge. It's going to allow him to get this town center, and then he's just going to power Villager to Ragnarok. And he's going to go through Bragi, and he's going to be able to do the Blaming Weapons Ragnarok, which we see all the time from Norse players. The difference between like Zeus and Hades in this matchup is Hades has a significant advantage against Ragnarok due to his bonus. His major god bonus is 700 HP for town centers. Extra, I think it's 20% or 30% bonus. I can't exactly remember the bonus, but actually, yeah, 25% bonus in HP to all buildings. So Ragnarok significantly reduced simply to the fact that the way to counter Ragnarok is to build buildings, because you get so many units that you can't actually beat Ragnarok with units, unfortunately, unless you had like a full 160 supply of counter infantry, which I still can't remember the name of. Anyhow, we do see a raid coming in over here. Actually, this might be huge if Mister spots that the dwarves are here and not in the back here. Then he's going to come in here and go, oh, where are they? Where are the villagers? I don't understand. And actually, has he spotted it? He hasn't spotted it. He has no clue. He thinks he's actually denying gold at the moment, which is huge because he's not. We do see he can spot the villagers there, but he wasn't paying attention, unfortunately. So he's going to have to retreat back here to save these villagers here. So he managed to pick off one tower there, but he didn't manage to stop anything. And again, this surround coming in here. When one god, one hammer, CountVonCount has more supply than you as a Norse player, then he should win this fight. But we see that there's a couple of Elder Cyclops out here, and the Toxotos focus firing those Hursa really nicely. So these Elder Cyclops are going to be able to do a monstrous amount of damage to the army of CountVonCount. CountVonCount really needs to get to the heroic age now and start building Jarls, because Jarls are the epitome of counter to this strategy. If somebody does a Minotaur Toxotos strat to you as Norse, you go semi-fast heroic and you get the Jarls out and the Frost Giants out, and it's over for them. You can't stop that. Either that, or you start getting some you get Jarls and Hostgals if you can't afford pure Jarls, and then you're good. But the other way to do it is simply just to go straight to Ragnarok, in which case Minotaurs are kind of useless. And we see a bunch of towers going up here. So again, I believe that TheMista thinks he's gold starving, or at least he thinks that one gold mine hammer only has the 8 villagers on the gold mine. You can see he doesn't actually know. He knows it's going down, but he doesn't know how many villagers are on it because line of sight of the walls, the wall segments are very small. And we do see another raid coming over here, but there is an Elder Cyclops here and a couple of Toxitoes, so there shouldn't be too much damage going on over here. I don't understand TheMista's infatuation with this gold mine. He's got a bad gold mine here, he's got a gold mine here, and he needs to get this town center. There's a couple of medium cavalry there to stop that from happening as well. So we'll see if he can actually manage to get that with 3 villagers versus 3 medium raiders. He shouldn't be able to. He should actually lose all of those, but we'll see. You can see all these villagers getting picked off again, and one god, one hammer, CountVonCount doing really well this game. Managed to just hang on to dear life at the start, and then the raids just being really good. Mr. making some mistakes, unnatural mistakes, like not unnatural mistakes, just uncommon mistakes from him. Sacrificing his army when it needed not to happen, and all that stuff. Just not having the foresight and missing the gold mine over here is a bit. It doesn't normally happen. Normally he picks up on those things, but he did miss the gold mine there. So that's that. And we do see Town Center not getting up there. A couple more raiding cavalries coming over here. He's actually justified doing this with sending 6 raiding cavalries over there. Town Center is actually worth 20 population with fortified town center. 15 without, so 6 times 2 is 12. So it's worth leaving 6 cavalry on that town center. Because their opponent's not going to be able to get it, not going to get that extra villager distribution from it. Excuse me, and therefore fall behind because of it. And every single villager that CountVonCount picks off here is a bonus for him. We do see Mr. almost at the amount of gold that he needs to get to the next stage. CountVonCount not even close because he's been investing so many resources into these medium cavalry, and then just losing them sort of callously, but also not because he's picking off villagers and stuff. But that's that. And we do see TheMista. Does he have an armory upgrade? No, he doesn't have an armory. Does he have the Toxito? He doesn't yet have any armory upgrades though, as opposed to CountVonCount, who has like 3rd tier pierce armor. So that's pretty huge there. A couple of these Cyclops doing some battle board rating, reminiscent of the battle board rating. You can see that myth units are the best anti-siege unit. Like siege unit, which isn't a siege unit, because they have the 50% pierce armor, and some physical damage units have physical damage myth units have a base crush damage as well, so they're going to be able to rip into that 5% crush armor, which all buildings have, and so that's going to be pretty big as well. A couple of these villages again getting picked off, so. The town center going down is going to be huge for TheMista, and the fact that CountVonCount losing this is not a good thing. He's managed to keep this one down, which is good, but this one losing, you do not really need to do that. And a couple of these villages are going to get picked off as well, I believe. Actually, no, Mister's not focusing them. And we do see that the gold mine there has been picked off and finished, and CountVonCount moving back to this gold mine. So CountVonCount's sitting at like 80 villages, maybe 70 villages at the moment. You've got a couple of idols, so you have to add a couple on to what's down here in the left corner. We do see that Skadi is getting research for CountVonCount, so not the Bragi that I was expecting with the really strong Ragnarok, but the Skadi, and perhaps he might be going for this winter sort of approach and using Fenris Wolfbroods to get some damage happening. A nice curse there by TheMista there to pick off a bunch of those raiding cavalry. Just to keep his Toxitos alive, and then he can move in here and actually attack this location and be out of range of that 20 range tower, and then stop that from happening if it does so choose. I really want TheMista though to send some villagers forward and just put a fortress on this. Grabbing it is good, but if you chuck a fortress on it, then you've got it and it's yours, and that's good. So we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't mind, again, TheMista sending maybe a Cyclops over here just to deal with these medium raiders, and then Mr. grabbing that. CountVonCount, I just don't know what he's going to do now. He's sitting in 2 town centers, he's lost map control, and he's going through Skadi against the Artemis. And the other thing that's a little bit surprising there is not to see the Ares, Apollo, Artemis god path there from TheMista. Maybe he just didn't feel like he needed the extra spike of his Toxitos in damage. It's sort of a fun thing to do. It's not really streamlined, but Apollo is really good. Like, you can, especially with a low mobility army like this, if you get Apollo, then you can move that army around to 2 different locations really quickly. If you get caught out, you can save them, and that's good. Saving units is always good. And again, look at this. All of these medium rated is focusing the Elder Cyclops instead of the Toxotos, and Toxotos is going to be able to do a bunch of damage here, and the Elder Cyclops is also going to be able to pick off a bunch of these Rain Cavalry just by himself, because Rain Cavalry is not terrible against Myth units. So this location is actually going heavily in the favour of the TheMista. He's going to be able to pick off a bunch of villages as well, but the Frost Giant coming in now, picking off that Elder Cyclops finally. Well, it probably will fall. And the town centre going to the TheMista. Again, this back town centre for the TheMista not going up. He doesn't have the wood to get it. He's still auto-queuing all of these Toxotos. I'm surprised that he hasn't converted himself to maybe Hoplite and or Cavalry as well, because that would be really, really smart. But maybe he might just be playing with CountVonCount at this point. Again, like, Toxotos are quite good. And we do see that the Earth base is going to come in on this location. Going to have Gold Star here, and that's going to be huge. And imagine if he had Apollo here, he'd be able to like Apollo from this underworld from this location to this location, and then just have gold control, have corner control, and that'd be huge. But Frost coming out now for CountVonCount. CountVonCount really needs to grab this town center back if he has any chance of winning the game. CountVonCount going through Balder actually, so he is doing the Ragnarok strategy, the fast. It's not really a fast Ragnarok, it's actually at the 25-minute mark. And with only medium Toxotos and 3 town centers, we see Mr. at 141 of 160 population. He really needs to chuck down some barracks to start getting those counter infantry out, which I still can't remember what they are. I'm so dumb. I know what they look like. They have little capes and they have a little sword and they have a little shield, but I cannot tell you for the life of me their name. We've seen some Plodromus out actually, so Mr. is producing some food units, but really what he needs to do is build some barracks. He should realize, okay, he had a market, he has ideas of going to the Mythic Age. If he's going to go to the Mythic Age through Balder, I need to be prepared for that, and it looks like he's just not being prepared for it. The raids are too immense. Maybe he just feels like there's no way that this guy can have the resources to go to the Mythic Age. But little does he know, Balder is on its way. We see Balder on its way, and we do see that armory upgrades should be coming out now in craziness. Like they should be heaps of them. We do see the full pierce ups now for CountVonCount, so he's going to take no damage from the Toxotos of the TheMista. He has no hack armor. So again, the correct response here from the TheMista is to get barracks, get counter infantry, and start to just like win the game. But there's only one town center for CountVonCount, so this is definitely what you call an all or nothing attack. He's got no more villages building. If we go straight to the post game before this happens, we go to the civilian units. We see that there's only roughly I don't know, probably 70. Yeah, that's about right. 70 villages here, and 259. Only 259 population at the end of this, so that's not big at all. But the big thing which is huge, it's not small, is that all of Mister's units deal pierce damage, all of them, including his buildings, and these units have like complete pierce armor. Like, so while they don't have any damage, all that pierce armor is going to go for something. Fortified town centers has been upgraded for the TheMista. He kind of does need to get masons and architects as soon as possible. We'll see if he is building that. No, does not feel like grabbing that one just yet. And now the barracks for the military academy coming out. And what are they? High pass pits, that's what they are. Go back to what I said before, building high pass pits would be good in this situation. And they're going to be able to deal with those heroes of Ragnarok. And some really nice building placement here though, just going to prevent a ton of those Ragnarok getting onto the fortified town center and killing that. But we do see that the hero of Ragnarok did manage to pick off this town center. They're probably going to move over here and build that one. He does have a couple of resources here. He doesn't have a market though, so can't trade those. But he is going to be building that one now. And kind of what you need to do now as CountVonCount is not waste units. Picking off this town center is it's gonna kill the town center, yeah, but it's just gonna get it back up if he loses all these units. What he really needs to do is find gold mines, because Mr. sitting at only 1,500 gold is not a lot if he loses all that gold, because he then has to deal with the 193 population army. that's bigger than what you think. Like, you think, oh, it's 193, you got to add 70 villages, so then that's only really 120 pop. But you don't have to add like that many villages. My maths is really bad, by the way. It's actually 110 pop, but whatever. Like, it's huge, the army at the moment. And he's coming in here with like 25 Ragnaroks there. And coming to this location, pick up all these villages, and he's finally doing the correct thing here. We're losing a couple of these units though, just carelessly running through the base of the Mista. Not the smartest thing, but he does have the 61% PS armor, so that's going to be huge for him, you know, in actually taking damage from the tower. So maybe he just doesn't give many fucks about that town center. And they are coming over here now, and we do see the medium high pass are out. Still no armory upgrades for Mr. Perhaps Mr. may have been better off getting the Plenty Vault just to be able to secure those resources instead of the not resources. But again, CountVonCount might actually secure that Plenty Vault somehow and then get resources and stuff. We do see a town center going up for the Mista. So even though he's sitting at only 130 population with no gold income, he still wants to get that town center, which he probably could have spent on maybe units. Did you see the special attack from the Perseus, whichever it is, has managed to pick up a Frost Giant? If you keep retreating there and using that, I'm not exactly sure what the cooldown of that is. 24-second recharge. So if he keeps on moving back, picking off Frost Giants there, then he can just turn around and kill all of those with the medium high pass boost. But the tank damage of the Frost Giant is probably too much. It's too tanky. And now we see, if we go back to the location of CountVonCount, it's actually at 145 population now, so you can start building villages, start chucking them onto the farms immediately. And we do see that a couple of these ox caravans have been going for a while. They're picking up 43 gold a trip, so that's not too bad. Not a bad investment right there. And they're going to be able to get some dwarves out for and thus some gatherers. Gatherers do build faster than dwarves at 14 seconds instead of 16 seconds, I believe. It doesn't say. I can't tell you. I'm pretty sure it's 14 seconds. It's 15 seconds for villagers, I think. Maybe it's 15 seconds. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that dwarves build slower than gatherers. We see there's another fight going on here for CountVonCount and the Mista, and the Mista are actually coming out a little bit ahead there. CountVonCount's seeing 88 population now to the Mista's 90 population. So if the Mista can make a huge push here, and produce that fortress and get those Petropoli out or those Heliopoli just to pick off this location here, and then prevent the reboom from CountVonCount, because CountVonCount can actually build at 15 villages a second from 3 town centers. This is all maths here. You're going to get like, what is it, 4? Yeah, you're going to get 4 rounds from 3, so you're going to get 12 villages a minute. So it's going to take maybe 5 minutes to get a reasonable economy going, and 10 minutes to get your economy back in shape. So you're going to be struggling. You're going to be really struggling in terms of getting that back if you don't have the 4th town center. Cut that down to maybe 5 minutes instead of the 10 minutes. But with all these units out, he's still got a couple. He's still got an army. He still might be able to do something. Might be able to make something of this. But the biggest thing, it's just weird watching Mr. play this way. He's sort of a lot more crisp normally, but maybe it's the map, maybe it's the chaos of the game. Everyone does get under a lot of pressure from chaos. The multi-raids from CountVonCount have been huge, and the CountVonCount is losing a couple of units just willy-nilly. But Mr. just going to wait it out, grab this gold mine back. Might want to chuck him a market soon. He does have 2 gold mines, if need be, to fall back on, so he can delay the market for a little bit at least. He does have 23 villages on the farms. What's his upgrades like? He doesn't have irrigation yet. Irrigation is huge. Plow gives 10%, I believe, farm. But irrigation gives another 10%, even not 15%. I'm not sure. Does it show me the line? Or do I have to go to a granary? It is 10%. So it turns your first 10% into 20%. So the gather time is pretty huge. And it's pretty good as well. We see the CountVonCount just trying to distract at the moment. I feel like he's got 6 HP on that hero Ragnarok, which is just trying to juke it out with that medium place. That's going to get picked off instantly because they do like a bonus 275% damage to infantry, and that's huge right there. Like in terms of it's like 18 or 20 damage or 22 damage or something like that. And the medium raid is getting picked off here. A little bit of a raid onto the trade route of CountVonCount. If he loses this, then he loses gold income, and that pretty much secures the game for TheMista. And looks like CountVonCount building his hill fort really wants to stay in this game. He feels like he can still win. Feels like he did a lot of damage to TheMista, which he did, but he didn't secure the game with his Ragnarok. And if he can't put pressure back onto TheMista and prevent TheMista from rebooming and getting back to that point that he can hit late game with his army, as a Greek army, it can be very difficult for CountVonCount to hit what's like what I like to call the hyper late game Norse. I feel like it's actually stronger than Greek. If you get enough walls and enough Baluster and Fire Giants out, there's nothing that you can do to counter it, because Baluster plus walls and watchtowers and Fire Giant is just impenetrable. You need to have maybe 5 to 10 Ulfsarks and just the rest Fire Giants and Baluster, and then you just wall push, and it's very difficult to deal with as any god. Maybe Zeus has a stronger one because it has access to Myrmidon, and Myrmidon can just push through pretty much anything. And unfortunately for Norse, their buildings are quite weak as well. We do see Baluster coming out now for CountVonCount. He's currently sitting at 145 population, so he's almost back to that full population, and it looks like the market has been either deleted or killed for by TheMista here. Mista pushing in here, picking off a couple of houses, delaying the population increase from CountVonCount there. If he picks that off, that's going to delay 10 population coming out there, but CountVonCount not getting much gold at the moment, with those caravans being idly by at that town center and that gold mine not getting anything. It'll be interesting to see how this fight goes with the 2 Fire Giants. I do have 600 HP, but Perseus is not out, looks like. If you go back to TheMista's perspective, we see only Chiron and Achilles are out, but remember that relic that they got earlier? They're actually going to be doing 700% damage, or maybe 1200% depending on how it works. I don't know. 1200% would be kind of ridiculous. Makes more sense for it to be 700%. Anyways, they're going to retreat into his other army, and then actually there's the relic. He must have lost it. The temple must have died. That's a little bit odd. Do you see a couple of those units getting picked off again? And TheMista is in this spot again. He's got his units stuck in his spot again. He can sort of fight here. I don't think it's wise for CountVonCount to fight just yet. He needs to be biding as much time as possible, get the villagers out, but this location is huge. If he walls this off, then this town center is never going to be able to stay up. And that's a really nice spot for TheMista to have found there. And that elephant, is that elephant blocking the path? Oh, the elephant's blocking the path, he can't get through. Oh no, the Toxito has managed to attack the villager there, but is currently, that's okay. That just happened. It turns out that you can actually ghost walk through a wall. I don't know how that happened, but it did. We see that Mista going to be continuing that wall that being built there, and Petropoli still going to be attacking that fortified town center. Does that have architects? It does have masons, not quite architects yet, a bit hard to get that. And a little bit of a fight going on over here with those Fire Giants dealing a ton of damage to those Hypaspis and Toxote. With the Fire Giants, their triple fireball actually does 15 crush or 25 hack. So it does 25 hack versus human units, and that bounces across a bunch of different units. So you can see all these units which have taken damage. It's actually been the splash damage from those fireballs that the Fire Giants actually chuck. You see the villagers now picking off this Fort Hill fort here. Villagers aren't that strong against taking buildings out. They are strong against the towers. I don't actually know why they added that for the Titans, but villagers killing towers is always fun to see. We can see that the villagers are going to come in here and now take control of this gold mine. TheMista sitting at 0 gold again, but he's got a full population, so it's okay to be sitting at 0 gold when you're at full population. We do see that the Hypaspis have got that sneaky little upgrade there, and Mista's got his first of the Ares upgrades for the, what's it called, Toxotos. You can see that Baluster now coming in here. But walls need to start getting produced now for these ballastas to really do anything, and perhaps some Hippocon maybe need to get produced to deal with the ballasta. Oh, excuse me. And we do see a couple of Toxodos over here to defend, and Mr. is now just starting his trade route. He's actually got three markets going at the moment, which is why he's only at 500 food, 27 villagers on the food. So with 3 markets going, he's going to be able to get those caravan going in maybe 3 minutes. And he's got a full large gold mine over here, but the raids from that one longhouse are going to be ridiculous. I'm going to see if Mysta can hold here or not, because these fire giants are so strong. They deal so much damage, but all of CountVonCount's units just got destroyed, just got deleted. And CountVonCount's just lost his town centre for that Petropoli raid behind the walls there. Very difficult for him to stop that. And a couple of those Hypaspis moving in here, picking off those Ballista. The final fire giant getting picked off, and Mysta's got a commanding lead on this game now, sitting at 150 population to 130 population. And he prevented the town centre of CountVonCount here, and he can continue to keep that down as long as he continues to build out the Petropoli. Mysta with no gold though. His gold mine has been prevented. A hill fort in the works here. He wants to get that hill fort out, but there's a couple of shades out, Hades shades that is, that are going to be able to prevent that from happening, at least for a little bit. The Ulfsarks just keep coming, they're on auto queue, and they're going to be able to get that hill fort up if he does manage to pick off some of those Hades shades. But the Hades shades just keep coming. Every unit that does die, or every unit, but most units that do die, every unit that does die has like a % chance that turns into a Hades shade. So that's that there, and yeah, the temple producing those shades is always quite nice. We can see these champion Toxodos continuing to push in and continue to push off some of this gold that CountVonCount's got. But CountVonCount with 18 villagers on gold has the same amount of gold as Mysta with 0 villagers on gold. But it does have the caravan coming out. It's been 3 minutes since that gold mine, and it looks like the Mysta's still building camel caravans there, so he's not quite happy with the amount of caravans he's got. You can see he can continue to push in here, and he can actually start building some of those siege archers, what are they called? Gastrophae, and they deal a ton of damage to hill forts once they get the burning pitcher upgrade. It's actually ridiculous. If you get like 5 Gastrophae and you send them off to kill a town center drops. If you don't answer it within like a couple of seconds, like it drops. It's ridiculous. It's one of the reasons why Hades late game is quite strong. And we do see that the fire giant getting picked on again by Achilles. Achilles always in the wars. There's no scumbag Trojan to shoot him in the ankle in this war. It's just the North. He can take them out all he likes. Achilles is such a funny unit. He's like a cavalry unit, but in Troy, the representation of the biggest war that Achilles fought in, Achilles never rode a horse. Anyways, that's the game. As I just move off on a weird venture into the unknown and something that's not even really related to this game. It sort of is because there's the Trojan campaign, but yeah, that's focuses on Cantos and not Achilles. In any case, this game was kind of hectic because Mysta did this all-out Cyclops Toxoto strategy and got caught out. He was winning and got caught out, which let CountVonCount back in the game. Unfortunately for CountVonCount, it didn't put him in the lead, so CountVonCount actually had to pick off another lead to get in the lead there. He tried to do it, he almost did, but his economy kept on suffering, so did Mysta's, but I feel like CountVonCount, One God, One Hammer's economy suffered the most. And Mysta just managed to grind it out. He survived the Ragnarok, and then he reset his economy, got his trade route going, and prevented CountVonCount from winning the game with any crazy strategies. Anyways, I hope you liked this game. I really enjoyed it. It was really great, and I hope Mysta keeps on playing, posting games so I can cast them. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas if I don't post another game before then. Enjoy that, and I will see you guys next time.